PhatPhish Guitar Studio. I'm Dave and this is another video in the series Tone Talk, talking about things you can do with your existing gear to get the most out of it and get the sound that works best for you. So it's kind of a bonus video. This wasn't one that I originally planned in the series, but I was sent in a question by Debbie, who asked a very good question. I thought I'd answer it very quickly, but there's probably a more involved answer, and I thought it'd be quite a good idea to kind of use it as the basis for a video. So here we go. Debbie's question was this: I understand how certain guitarists can sound so individual. Always thought it was the guitar they use rather than the pedals. Do the same effect pedals sound different on different makes of guitar? So that's a good question. Short answer is yes. Different guitars will sound different through like the same pedals and backline. But the more I thought about it, actually that's a really good question and merits a more in-depth discussion. And I'm in the fortunate position that I've got quite a few different guitars I can kind of demonstrate with. Now there's a load of different factors that affect how a guitar sounds. The fundamental voice in the case of an electric guitar are the pickups, but there's all sorts of other things like the way the guitar's constructed, if it's a bolt-on neck versus a glued-in neck or a through neck, if it's hardtail or trem, what wood the guitar's made of, and things like type of nut that you've got, all these different things. Even you, the way that you hold the guitar, the pick that you're using, they all have some influence on the way that the guitar sounds. Some factors influence it more than others, but there's a whole bunch of different things at play. The main factor though in the case of an electric guitar, like I say, are the pickups. So let's get started. This is going to be probably a bit of an awkward video to watch because there's going to be lots of cutting between different things as I demonstrate different guitars, but here goes. So let's start with this guitar as a reference. This is my Williams Evo Artist. It's got a couple of humbucking pickups. It's got a Seymour Duncan JB at the bridge and the Jazz at the neck. So this is the bridge pickup on its own. So that's got a characteristic sound. It sounds like a humbucker. It's got a slightly fuller, more rounded sound, not as toppy as you would get with some other pickups. So it's like something we can use as a reference. How about we now do a cut to a different guitar? This guitar, in fact, it's a Fender standard Stratocaster, made in Mexico, nothing particularly fancy. This has got single coil pickups. Now this isn't the most stratty sounding Strat that I've got, but because of the type of pickups it's got, these are ceramics, it kind of levels the playing field a little bit with the other guitars I'm going to be using. But it's got the characteristic single coil type of sound. These are more toppy, brighter sounding pickups than what we've got in the Williams, where it's using humbuckers. Third guitar that I want to use for the purpose of this demo is this one. This guitar, Fender Telecaster, the Fender Baja Tele. Again, this is just the bridge pickup on its own. Again, bridge pickup, single coil, but it's a different voice pickup to what's on the Stratocaster. So you can hear there, three different guitars, just into the clean channel on the amp, three different sounds. So a bit of a faff on getting into this, but I just kind of wanted to explain the guitars that we're using. Now let's hear how they sound with some different effects and we can kind of compare and contrast. Let's go back to the Williams when we started and hear how that sounds. Okay, so the clean tone sounds like this. If I add in some chorus, here you can hear the sound of the chorus pedal that's added, but it's still got the fundamental voice of the guitar. If we cut, say, to the Stratocaster, it sounds like this. still hearing the chorus. You can tell that it's there. It's got that warble, but it's still got the characteristic sound of the Strat. So this is the Strat without any chorus. And with chorus, you can hear still the fundamental voice of the guitar. It's got that bit more treble to it. It's a brighter sound because it's a Strat style pickup. Lastly, for this this particular effect, let's try the Telecaster. Again, you can tell when the chorus comes in, you can hear the sound of that pedal, but you're still hearing the basic sound of the Telecaster. The Telecaster with chorus sounds different to the Strat with chorus pedal, and sounds different to the Evo, the Williams Evo, the humbuckers, when it's played with chorus. That's because there's so many factors involved from you striking the string through to the sound hitting the listener's ears or hitting the recording device or whatever. And the pedal is just one of them. There's so many other factors here that have changed, you know, particularly the pickup that I'm playing the sound from. So there's a demonstration, 3 different guitars, 3 different sounds. I like an analogy. Here's one. My beverage of choice is black coffee. I could tell the difference between just a instant coffee, filter coffee, Americano, God forbid decaf. Think of those as being the different types of guitar. You know, whether it's a Strat or a Tele or something with humbuckers or whatever, they've all got their own distinctive voices, in the same way the different types of black coffee have got their own distinctive taste. Now, you can do things with your coffee. I sometimes put milk in it. I might get a bit crazy and add sugar or one of these flavoured syrups. When I do that, I can still tell the difference between the Americano with milk and say, vanilla syrup, and the difference between a filter coffee with milk and vanilla syrup, and so on. By adding milk and vanilla syrup, I don't suddenly make just this generic light brown sweet vanilla-y tasting liquid. They still have the fundamental taste of the coffee that I started with, and it's the same thing with guitars and effects. You can put all sorts of pedals into the mix, but you still have the fundamental sound of the guitar there. Now, as you add more and more effects in, you start to dilute down. You know, if I started with half a cup of coffee and added, half a cup of milk and tons of sugar and so on, it's going to start to mask the taste of the black coffee that I started with. But you see where I'm going with this? So you heard there 3 different guitars in chorus with 3 different sounds, and it's because of all the different factors that are present. Just for the hell of it, let's do something similar, but instead of using a modulation effect like chorus, let's look at a drive sound. So back with the Williams Evo, and we're going to go to, still on the clean channel of the amp, but I'm going to kick in, turned off the chorus, and I've added in a bit of drive from an Angry Charlie pedal. So clean channel sounds like this. It's still got that characteristic humbucker sound. It's full, it's got more mid-range. I'm adding harmonics through the like the way that the pedals adding drive and distortion, but the basic voice of the guitar hasn't got that as much treble bite as perhaps a single chord pickup like the Strat. Yeah, that's a bit more toppy. It's got that characteristic Strat sound. Without the drive, with the drive. Now, I think the effect that the effect has on the sound is more noticeable with overdrive compared to the chorus, but it's still about having the basic sound of the guitar coming through. How about the Telecaster? Well, it sounds like this. Again, it's got the characteristic Telecaster sound. characteristic Telecaster sound is quite, this again, all playing with the bridge pickup, it's quite a bright, almost twangy sound. And that comes through with the drive pedal as well. It's like I say, the whole thing you've got is a system. The materials that the guitar's made out of, how it's made, how the strings are attached to the body, things like that, all the different circuitry and things that you can go through, the type of pickup. I mean, you can switch pickups to get different sounds. So as you would have seen in the second video of the Tone Talk series, I talk about what you can do with your guitar to control the sound. But there's all these variables, and the pedal that you use is only one link in that chain. Drive is an interesting example. You'll get some pedals which like market themselves as being called like a transparent drive pedal. I think of an example like a Klon Centaur. If you feel like spending a lot of money on a drive pedal, get yourself a Klon Centaur. Lovely sounding pedal, but it's what considered to be like a transparent drive, where the way that the drive's added, it still allows a lot of the guitar's fundamental voice to come through. If you go at the other end of the scale, something like the Boss Metal Zone, a pedal which is either loved or hated, but that's a far less transparent drive. It's got an awful lot of gain on there, and it starts to swamp the sound of the guitar a bit, but I guarantee if you get a Boss Metal Zone, plug in a Strat, plug in a Tele, plug in my Williams Evo, any other guitar, you will still hear the difference between the guitars, because all you're doing is adding one pedal in the chain. So everything else remains unchanged, and that part of the voice comes through. So that's quite a long-winded answer to a very simple question of, do all guitars sound the same through effects? And the short answer is they do sound different. The reason I'm giving kind of a long-winded answer is because it's about understanding the way that the whole system works, and how the sound's perceived by the listener. If you play guitar and you have more than one guitar, you will probably recognise the conversation you have. I certainly have had with people who say, "Oh, what do you do the weekend?" "Oh, I bought another guitar," and they'll say, "Why did you buy another guitar for? Surely you don't need another guitar." At which point I say, "Well, you don't understand. I wanted that other guitar, and I needed that other guitar." Sometimes I get a slightly more long-winded question, which is, "Why did you buy that guitar for? It's an electric guitar. Surely they all sound the same." To which point my response is, "You really don't understand. Electric guitars do not all sound the same. A Strat sounds different to a Telecaster, sounds different to a Les Paul, sounds different to a 335. All these different types of guitar have their own sounds. Even different Strats. That Mexican Strat that I was playing before sounds different to my USA standard Strat, and certainly sounds different to the custom shop there with the vintage pickups." And think about how that kind of affects you as a musician. There will be some people in your audience who, untrained ears, that genuinely just don't get the difference in sound. But the vast majority of listeners, even with untrained ears, are still going to be able to tell the difference in sound between different guitars. And if you think about how that guitar sounds, how well suited it is to playing music, a particular song or particular style of music, it should influence your choice of what guitar you play. And certainly when you get, if you're recording, don't be afraid of taking a handful of different guitars into the studio. If you know there's a song that's going to sound really good with a bright, open, glassy sounding Strat, take a Strat to the studio. If you've got another song that you really need to punch through a bit more, take the Les Paul, take something with humbuckers. You've got those options. Using your trained ear, think about what characteristics you're looking for in a song or in a particular track or whatever, and what characteristics of the guitar are going to help you to achieve that. Even the way the guitar sounds will influence the way that you play. Certainly there's times I will sit down in the studio here to play something, and it's just not working for me. Pick up a different guitar and it all slots together. Some styles of music I find very, very difficult to play on the Strat because it just doesn't suit the style. it's just one of those things. It's quite complex. But like I said, there's so many factors that affect your tone, and I'm sure I'll come back and talk about those in a bit more detail in another Tone Talk video. But for now, I've talked and played too much, so I'm going to sign off. Debbie, hope that answered your question. I hope you didn't get too bored with the long-winded answer. If you liked the video, please click like. If you really enjoyed it, please click subscribe. You're welcome to leave a comment. As I say at the end of all of these videos, if you want to ask me a specific question, best way to do it is to go here, fill in the form, send your question in, and I guarantee I'll see that. I don't always see the comments on YouTube videos. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video next time. Bye for now.